Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the 2021 GP4 World ChampCar Offline Championship. We are here for the 40-lap race here at the popular Road America circuit, one of few tracks in the world to have kept its original layout since it opened. I am JW97. I wasn't here yesterday to do qualifying, but I am here for the race. I am joined today by my arch nemesis, Ra.
aka 19-year-old Raw.
Yes, you recently just turned 19 recently, so happy birthday for that day, Ra. But
Thank you,
anyway.
mate.
Yes, anyway, we are here for the third race of the season after a pretty interesting first two races of the season. But after qualifying yesterday, we've got a very interesting grid. Let's have a look at the grid then. We'll do 4x4 like Rob usually does for F2 RAR. So, on pole position for the first time since his BTC, since I want to say 2009. In fact, I did double check that. It was since he was in the top class. It's Sam Thompson in the Ferrari with Igor Peter, the championship leader, alongside him in second. Zachary Fitzwater, very good qualifying for him today, yesterday in third, with Bruno de Baus, the winner from the last race, in fourth.
Yep, in fifth place we have Nicolas Zorberg in the BMW, and then sixth place we have Gabriel Gomez in the Andretti, and then we have Frederic Sopa in the Carlin and Toby Holloway in P8.
P9 on the grid is the second car of Simon Mutka with Bartosz Klos. Disappointing qualifying for him in 10th position. Balint Zolga is in 11th. He originally qualified in 6th, but due to a 5-place grid penalty that he received for a crash he caused at Austin, he starts in 11th with TJ Papero alongside him in 12th in the Meyershank racing car.
Yep, in 13th we have Jordan Howe in the first of the McLarens, and in 14th we have Rubinho Gonzalez in the Ferrari. In 15th we have John Pedro Kirby in the Chip Ganassi, and 16th we have Thomas Cassidy.
Yep, Kirby didn't have the best of laps yesterday. There was also somebody who made a mistake yesterday as well. I believe that was Gabriel Gomez. In 17th, it's Alex Eric Lucien in the Peugeot. Not exactly the best qualifying for him. Same goes to Florian Volker. He starts down in 18th in the Audi McLaren. Then we have the Vipers and the Manners to contend with Bartosz Bracki in 19th and Kim Sung-Ming in 20th. And on the last row of the grid, Ra.
And it's Yuri Gabriel in 21st, and then Francesco De La Rosa in 22nd.
40 laps coming your way, 2 pit stops, and no rain expected for this race. So without further ado, let's get to the 40-lap race here at Road America. 2 pit stops are required. If I was to guess, I think they're probably going to come, because it's only a 40-lap race, I'd say around about lap 25 to 30 for the second stop, and then for the first stop, maybe lap 15 to 20. There is a bit of rain on screen, surprisingly enough, but it isn't expected to wetten up. So I should expect the rain to clear up during this race, but let's see. That's a bit of a surprise. It didn't say that on the weather forecast. But anyway, 5 laps are now on your screen. The 5 lights are now on, and we are underway for round 3 of the World ChampCar Series. A very good start for Sam Thompson. He's got away very well indeed. Igor Peter also going away very well. But a brilliant start from Bruno de Baus, in fact. He's jumped Fitzwater, and he's also driven Peter. He's going to try and go for the lead as well. But Thompson covers him off, as does Peter, as they make the way through the first corner. In fact, Peter trying to hang it around the outside of Thompson. He might have got the lead as they make the way down towards turn number 2 now then. Round the outside goes the championship leader. Thompson trying to keep him in check there. They're still going to remain side by side, but Peter has got the edge and he's gone up into first position. Now de Baus will want a piece of the action down to turn 3. He's going to the inside. This is where I think we're going to see most of the overtaking being done today, maybe even to turn 1 as well. Down the inside goes de Baus. Can he get the move done on the pole to Thompson? Yes, he can. Up into second place he goes and make the way through. Down through turn 3 now then. Fitzwater also trying to have a go at Thompson as well, but it's not going to quite work out. But Peter has the lead of the race, and it's the top 2 yet again from Austin, duking it out, Ra.
Yeah, good so far, so good so far, as de Baus did really well at the start, and he's up to second place. Fitzwater down in 4th, Gomez up to 5th. So far, so good, and I think it's been clean so far at the moment. I don't think anyone else has got damage.
It looks like everybody has kept it clean so far. There is a bit of a gap forming towards the back, but the top 2 fighting out as Gomez looking on the inside of Fitzwater. Not going to quite work out. And if there are any questions around this corner, if from the expect a lot of damage happens. Meantime, at the front, de Baus on the inside of Peter. Can he grab the lead? And yes, he can. De Baus takes the lead here at Road America. Now Thompson wants a piece of the action for Peter as well, as Fitzwater continues to hold a bit of a train, which consists of Gomez and who's the guy in 6th position? Let's quickly have a look on the underneath there. It's Kloss. He's had a very good start, in fact, Kloss. He started started in 10th and has got up into 6th position. It's the complete lap 1 of the race then. Debars leads Peter in 2nd, but it might not be for long though, because Thompson on the inside of Peter as they make their way through into the first corner. Side by side go the Ferrari and the Andretti now then. Meantime, in the background, Gomez on the inside of Fitzwater as Thompson takes 2nd for Peter into the first corner now then. Fitzwater just holds off from Gomez, but Peter not giving up yet on Thompson as Thompson defends the inside through into turn 2 now then, as Fitzwater starting to gap a little bit from Gomez, who's got pressure from Kloss behind, and it looks like Peter's not giving up yet on Thompson. Looks like these two good switch positions. Down the inside goes Igor Peter into turn 3. Kloss meanwhile on the inside of Gomez in the background. Peter retakes 2nd from Thompson now then, as Kloss got 5th. Yes, he has. Kloss up into 5th position. Meantime in the background, Zorbach has also lost the place as well to someone there as well. He's dropped down into 8th position, and that was from Toby Holloway. Holloway's had a very good start as well. He's up into 7th place as he's trying to make amends after so far this season. He's yet to finish a race this season. Of course, he had a very good qualifying last time out in Austin when he started on the front row, was looking good in 4th, and then mechanical failure gave way. He's still yet to finish a race so far.
Yep, indeed, and hopefully this could be it for him, and hopefully he can get points. And so far, it's looking good for him at the moment, but he's gotta have to hopefully his car doesn't let him down.
Indeed so, as meantime, Kloss now starting to attack Fitzwater and P4 late on the brakes, and that's a beautiful move. Up into 4th place goes Barges Kloss. 1 and 4 now for the two Penske drivers, and now Gomez wants to have a go at Fitzwater himself, and it looks like Fitzwater's brilliant qualifying yesterday being undone, because now he's starting to go backwards down through the field, as Kirby, meanwhile, trying to make up for a disappointing qualifying yesterday all over the back of one of the Carlin cars. That happens to be, which Carlin car is that? I'm not sure. It's Soper, as he's going to the inside for P number 11 now then. Has he got the move done on the Carlin driver? Just trying to keep an eye on front. There's some battles going on in front as well, as Zorbat trying to get back a Holloway into the first corner, as up into P11 now goes JP Kirby in the Chip Ganassi car, and yes, Zorback did get up into 7th place. He has re-overtaken Holloway for P7. Now Gomez all over the back of Fitzwater now then. This is really exciting racing. We were expecting this to happen here at Road America, and it's definitely proving it. Nearly 3 wide in the background for 2 sections of the track. Gomez actually backs out. There's Holloway back on the inside of Zorback and retakes 7th place from the German. Same place he overtook him on the previous lap. But yeah, so much action so far. It's a bit similar to Austria, you would say, Ra.
Yep, indeed, and it's really exciting so far, and it is really promising stuff. As we see an attempt from Gomez on Zachary Fitzwater, it doesn't work for right now. He has to stay in 6th. Fitzwater holds on for 5th. Kirby's now lost the position, and he's back down in 12th.
Soper's got him back, as meanwhile Gomez and Fitzwater went round the carousel and now looking to the inside through the right-hander, but again Fitzwater covers him off through into that right-hander. Meantime, Zorback not giving up on Holloway at the moment. Meantime, look at this, Kloss is now caught up to the top 2. Kloss wants to make it a Penske 1-2 if he can. Meanwhile, Zorback back on the inside of Holloway. Holloway covers him off there, going through into the final few turns of the racetrack. Underneath the bridge to go, and now look at this, Thompson under pressure. You can just see in the background from Barches Kloss now. Then Kloss wanted to get onto the podium if he can. Kloss has had quite a bit of bad luck this season, it's fair to say, but he's making good progress after only starting in 10th on the grid today. He's now on the inside. Goes Barges Kloss in the Penske now. Then is he going to grab P3 from the Pulsar to Sam Thompson? On the inside he goes into the first corner, and he has done. Up into P3 goes Barges Kloss in the Penske. Kirby is now overtaken Soper for P number 11. As Gomez still stuck behind Fitzwater, you can just see in the background there as they continue their fight for 5th position. There is rain on the screen for anybody who's reminding, but we aren't expecting the track to wetten up, so no wet weather conditions are expected, although we never know what GP4 can be like, as Gomez trying to have a go at Fitzwater down into what is technically turn 5, what I've been called. And speaking of which, Thompson retakes 3rd from Barges Kloss there into the left-hander, so clearly didn't want to give that one up for a fight, did he, Ra?
Yep, indeed. And so far, it's looking good for him. I feel like the Ferrari has a little less downforce, and it's really helping him in a straight line.
We saw last time out in Austin, they struggled a little bit with straight line speed, which is a bit of a surprise, but it's clear they've sorted that one out here at Road America, maybe running a different setup. Kirby now into the points. He's past Howell, so up into P10 goes JP Kirby, as meantime on seen by the cameras as well. Howell has actually got up into 11th place. It's actually not Howell he passed, it's in fact Howell took advantage. Now look at Gomez on the inside. They've also brought Zorback into play as well, because he's also re-overtaken Holloway somewhere on the track, as now Gomez on the inside of
Zolga's lost places, sorry to interrupt.
Zolga is falling back quite a bit. He has got a problem. His engine is blown up, and Balain Zolga, after having the grid penalty yesterday, his race is over. He hasn't got the pit indicator next to his name, so I'm afraid that's going to be race over for Balain Zolga.
Yep, indeed, and it's such a shame. He was in the points as well. a big shame for him. And it did really happen when he was in the points somewhere. I don't know where that happened, but wow, it's a
Oh,
big shame for him. Ooh.
look up there for Barch's Kloss as he was trying to overtake Sam Thompson. It's a good job he didn't swipe him into the side there, but he hasn't been able to get the place. As a result, you can just see it there, look. He got a little bit too hot on the brakes there, and Thompson took full advantage and got the position back around the outside there. Luckily, he didn't swerve into the side of him there,
Yep, indeed. He was actually ahead, and then he looked up, and yeah, pretty lucky there. He had to slow it down significantly, and yeah, as you see, Soga going to pull over to the side.
And that confirms it was two terminal because, of course, he didn't have a pit indicator next to his name, but he's pulling off onto the pit straight, and that is race over for Balenciaga. His weekend was kind of compromised anyway with the 5-place grid penalty, but he was making progress through the field, and it's race over for him. As Kloss has got third, he has re-overtaken Sam Thompson, so he's now up into third position, and given that he's passed him in where we've seen a lot of overtakes done today, he might have got the move done this time, Ra.
Yep, indeed. He could try and fight for second place here, and hopefully can get that one. As meanwhile, Fitzroy and Gomez still battling it out. They're holding a train of cars, actually.
All aboard the Fitzwater train, I say, with this instance. He was holding up a bit of a train last time out at Austin 2 weeks ago. It seems that Fitzwater is carrying a little bit of a Jarno Trulli reputation in this series, it's fair to say. As Gomez has got understeer. We saw this yesterday with him as well in qualifying. Could that allow Zorbach through? No, not quite. Zorbach going to try and have a look now onto the inside, going into the right-hander, but it's not going to quite work out. But just like yesterday, Ra, Gomez struggling around the carousel.
That's not what he wanted. Again, that is not actually what he wanted. As Holloway trying to go through on the outside. It didn't even work, unfortunately. Try to sneak through on Zorbach, and it failed.
Not quite there as well, and Gomez, lucky he didn't lose a place, but it's now created, well, it did for a brief time, create a bit of a buffer between himself and Fitzwater, but already he's closed that back up, even with that mistake, through into the carousel. And now Papero preparing to attack Holloway now for P8. On the inside he goes. I think he scored points last time out, did Papero in Austin, as he's now on the inside, and he gets P8, but Holloway wants to place back into the first corner if he can, but Papero says no to that, and up into P8 goes DJ Papero, but keep an eye on what he can potentially do down to what is technically turn 5, according to Rose Henson in the stream chat. No idea why that is, but it is classed as turn 5 instead of turn 3, which is a little bit strange. But we'll go with whatever it says on there. As Holloway is going to try and take advantage of that. Can he retake the place from DJ Papero down into turn 5? Meantime, in the background, looks like Kirby is also having to fend off from someone as Papero fends off for P8. And it looks like Howell is trying to get P10 from Kirby as it goes side by side out of turn 5. But Kirby, with just enough traction, might keep hold of it. Although Holloway is going to still stick to the inside through to turn 6. They're still side by side. But Kirby holds on and holds on to P10 for the moment, but now Kirby holding up his own version of the train. Sees that Chip Ganassi seems to be popular with trains at the moment, Raw.
Yep, indeed, and that was actually how, not Holloway, although he's just fine with Papero.
How. They are a bit of a confusing name, the pair of them are. But anyway, as meantime, Gomez again trying to have a go at Fitzwater through into the right-hander there, but can now Zorbach try and take full advantage in his battle for 5th, as Gomez again trying to go to the inside. This time Fitzwater's not defending the inside. Gomez, can he get the move done this time? No, again, Fitzwater just able to fend off from Gomez at this point in time. And at the moment, this is probably just getting more frustrating for Gomez, as Kloss is now trying to close in on Igor Peter in front and try and see if he can make it a Penske 1-2 as this battle continues down into turn 1 at the moment. Gomez, as mentioned, Ra, probably getting frustrated at this point.
Yep, indeed. This is not what he wants. He's trying to overtake him ASAP, and it's not really working. He knows he could get a podium, but he needs to take this chance.
Indeed, as Zorbach trying to look for any opportunity he can in the BMW pyramid to get through. As we saw just in the background there, Holloway was trying to attack back on the Papero, but didn't quite work out for him there. As Gonzalez, meanwhile, has got up into 12th place. He's passed Federic Sopes up into 12th place. Gonzalez. Gonzalez, of course, unlike his teammate, had a very tricky qualifying session, only managing 14th position yesterday, and now he's having to make up a lot of time through the field. Gomez on the inside, and this time he finally got the move done. Up into P5 goes Gomez.
Yep, finally, it's taken him long, but hopefully he can try and fight back, get in the podium. Let's see what happens.
Like he had a little bit of a lock up there as well, going through into turn 6 there, so that might have not helped him out too much, but finally He is up into P5, but Fitzwater's still sticking there, although it looked like he had to go a little bit defensive because it looked like Zorbak was putting him under a bit of pressure. Now look at this. Kloss nearly right on the gearbox now of Igor Peter. This is the battle for second place. De Bauer has whizzed off into the distance, created a bit of a gap, and now Kloss wants to make it a Penske 1-2. Igor Peter thought for a moment there he wasn't defending, but just last minute defends the inside and keeps hold of second place for the moment, as it looks tight, like towards the back. Soper and Cassidy are fighting for 30 minutes. Oh, Igor Peter goes a bit wide there. Can Kloss take advantage? We've got a yellow flag. Papero. Papero was in the point, and it looks like the first casualty of that corner is TJ Papero.
It was a puncture I just saw on the steering wheel. I think he has a puncture.
Oh, it might have been a mechanical failure then, not a crash, because if anybody has watched any races around this track, and oh, seriously, Kloss is up to second. Kloss has made it a Penske 1-2. He's passed Peter whilst we were looking at this from Papero, and yes, it was a puncture. You were correct. It wasn't a crash at that corner, because in other GP4 races I've seen, that corner can create quite a lot of crashes from mistakes, and, well, on this occasion, it was a puncture. What a shame for Papero. He scored points last time out in Austin, was looking good for some more points here, but unfortunately, his tyre let him go.
Been there for a top 6 finish, but unfortunately he's not.
It's created all this chaos that's developed there. There's a lot of position changes happening right at the bottom of the corner. Luckily, that isn't a yellow flag zone, so that all those moves there are legal. But I mentioned Kloss has gone up to second, and there you go. Here's how the Honda Power just blasting past the Chevy-powered Andretti down the straight, and it is now a Penske 1-2. But I wouldn't rule out Igor Peter down into turn 5, Ra.
Yep, indeed. It's a good one from Kloss, taking his chance, and hopefully he can pull away and hold him behind for now.
And it looks like he's already created a bit of a gap, so that prevents Peter from trying to attack him back into turn 5. Meanwhile, we've got the battle for 6th going on now. Zorbak all over the gearbox of Zachary Fitzwater. They're also potentially dragging Toby Holloway into this. Danny inside. Can Zorbak go later on the brakes compared to Fitzwater? No, he's going to tuck back for a moment, and Fitzwater just holds on. Meantime, Gonzalez now attacking one of the Carlin cars. I presume that this is Mutka he's trying to have a go at into the corner. No, it's Soper, it's the other one, but whatever the case, but Gonzalez up into 11th, and now he finds himself one place away from the points as Cassidy is past the other Carlin of Mutka, and Volker wants to follow through, but it's not going to quite work out into turn 6 there. But yeah, Gonzalez making progress at the moment, Ra.
Yep, indeed. So far, so good for him. Hopefully he can get points, but yeah, so far he's doing well there, and I think we might see another take.
Looks like Gonzalez had a bit of understeer through into that corner where if you go off there, it could result in catastrophic consequences. Zorbak now on the inside of Fitzwater. Can he get P6 from the Aussie this time? No. And this is all allowing Toby Holloway to just get up to the gearbox of these two as well and maybe try and find any advantage he can. But Zorbak, probably like with Gomez, probably also starting to get a little bit frustrated, Ra.
He's not really confident on the brakes, it seems, but yeah, he's got to try and get confident on the brakes and try and send it, try and find a way. But he's even that quick enough in the straight line. We'll see. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. You can see Fitzwater pulling away just about when he's out the slipstream.
Yeah, it looks like the Honda Power, unless it's set up differently between these two in terms of drag, looks like the Honda Power might have a little bit of an edge compared to the BMW engine that's in the back of Zorbak's car. Here is the race leader, Bruno de Bauer, with a comfortable lead in front of teammate Barges Kloss. Currently a Penske 1-2 here at Road America, as now, as we see now, Zorbak again trying to have a go at Fitzwater down into turn 5. Can he this time get the move done down into turn 5? No, again, he just doesn't have the power compared to the Honda Under, although it looks like Fitzwater had a little bit of a lock up there, went a bit deep, but Zorbak wasn't able to capitalize. Gonzalez is now in the points. Holloway trying to have a go at Zorbak, but isn't quite able to get 7th. But now Gonzalez is into the points, and his next target is JP Kirby, Ra.
Yep, indeed. He's overtaken Jordan. Oh, there's a lock-up from Cassidy.
Indeed, as Hello Flows just joined us in the stream chat, as speaking of which, Volker currently trying to attack Mutka for P14 at the moment, as they now make their way towards the carousel now then, where we just saw Gomez have a bit of an understeer moment a little bit earlier on, and that's also a corner you don't want to get wrong as well, because if you go off into the gravel there, it's curtains for your race because of how close the barrier is there, as Gonzalez there attacking Kirby for P9. Is he going to try and have a run at him down into this right-hander who's having a look to the inside, but Kirby looks like he's going to close the door into this corner, and he's going to hold on to 9th for the meantime, but Gonzalez already starting to put some pressure on him.
Yeah, that Ferrari's looking good so far. Ooh.
Towards out to understeer there, going through into the final corner. Is this Zorbac's chance to capitalise? But again, the power of the Honda engine in the back of the Chip Ganassi seemingly working for the Pyramid. We're going to have the first round of pit stops on this lap because it looks like, from the looks of that indicator, Zorbac is coming in this lap. Of course he is, because his teammate Zolga is already out of the race. So Zorbac is pitting at the end of this lap, and they now make their way through the right-hander now then. Zorbac will be coming in this lap, but will he want to pass Fitzwater before the pit stop, or will he have to wait till the pit stops? Let's see. Let's see if Zorbac can pass him before he gets to his pit stop stage of the race. The first of 2 stops, of course, as Zorbac on the inside, but again can't do it. I think he's going to have to wait till the pit stops, Raw.
Yeah, it really is. Klaus is also coming into the pitch this lap as well. Now there's Volker on the move.
Volker on the inside of Mutka now for P14, but again, the Carlin just seems to have a little bit of an edge on the McLaren at the moment. I'm not sure what engine the Carlin is running at the moment, but clearly it's not working out for the McLaren of Volker at the moment. Good more side-by-side action in front. That was Gonzalez side-by-side with Kirby, and he looks like he's got the place. He has. Up into P9 goes Gonzalez. That's a brilliant move. Or has he? Because around the outside goes Kirby. He's still going to try and hang it around the outside if he can, as they make their way side-by-side through the carousel now then. Can Gonzalez with the extra grip around the outside get the move done on Kirby this time, but as they make their way through towards this right-hander now.
This is going to be close.
This is going to be close, but Gonzalez has got the place. Kirby didn't want to fancy that, and up into P9 goes Gonzalez. As a result of that, Howe lost the place. He had to back out, and it's allowed Cassidy up into 11th position. Meantime, Barges Kloss has come into the pits for his first stop as Holloway's passed Zorbac on the track. Holloway up into P7 in the Peugeot, as Holloway is actually, Zorbac is in the pits as he's coming in for his first round of pit stop, but that's not great. It's now Holloway. It's now his turn to try and attack Fitzwater. As mentioned, Kloss was in the pits. I don't know if he still is at the moment. Yes, he is still in the pits because these two have moved up a place as a result, but Fitzwater, his engine keeping him in front at the moment as Kloss still in the pit lane at the moment. 11.9 seconds is his pit stop. Luckily, he didn't get held up by Zorbac's BMW there, but lots of action going on the track and even in the pit lane as well. Soper on the inside, he's got the move done on Howell there into the first corner. Volker still stuck behind Mutka as Mutka now finds himself in a McLaren sandwich. You can also say at the same time, Howell is currently in a Carlin sandwich as well, so a lot of sandwiches going on there.
That is tasty.
I don't know if it's that tasty or not, but anyway, Cassidy trying to have a go at Kirby, but Kirby just leaving his braking a little bit late to stay in front, going down into turn 5. Thompson's not coming in this lap. I'm not sure if anybody in the top 3 is pitting this lap or not. Nope, they're all staying out for at least another lap, but Gomez is coming in, as is Fitzwater, and as is Holloway, so we're looking at a pit stop battle there, potentially between Chip Ganassi and Peugeot Ra.
Yep, indeed, and Zorbac's got to get this undercut to work. He's got to hope that he's ahead of Fitzwater.
As Holloway, he looks like he wants to pass him before they get into the pits, but Fitzwater covering the inside off, so it looks like it is going to be a pit stop battle. We need to wait and see who's got the garage advantage though. I'm not quite sure who it is. I don't know how Yui set up the garages here, so we'll have to wait and see whether the Chip Ganassi or the Peugeot has a garage advantage. Gomez is expected into the pits now then for his first stop of the race, so into the pits he goes in the Andretti, and pitting before teammate Peter, as Fitzwater and Holloway also come in. So let's see who's got the garage advantage then between Chip Ganassi and Peugeot, as they're now both into the pit lane now then. And let's see who's got it. It's the Chip Ganassi that's got garage advantage, so you expect Fitzwater, unless he has a long stop, to have an advantage over Holloway in the pits, as they change the tyres on Holloway's car. Gomez has just been released. You just see him there. Also in the pits is Cassidy. Long fuel there. Amano is also in. And Cassidy Holloway getting held up. And Fitzwater has made his way through. So as expected, Fitzwater stays ahead after the pit stops are.
Yep, indeed. But we'll see where Zorbac is. He's crossed the line now. Is he ahead?
Oh, it's going to be close, but he is. Zorbac has jumped the pair of them, and he's got ahead of Fitzwater.
Yep, that's an important undercut from Zorbac, and he took it well. The team did him a good job so far.
Bauhaus, meanwhile, the race leader, is coming into the pits this lap now then. So he's had a comfortable lead out in front. He's pretty much done what he did in Austin 2 weeks ago. And Bauhaus continuing the form that we saw him do in pre-season testing. Is Volker coming in this lap, and he's still stuck behind Simon Mutka's Carlin. And he's also got, who is that? That's Alex Lucian right behind him in the Peugeot. And I think he's also coming in this lap. Is Mutka coming in this lap as well, I think?
No, yay.
He is, and he's staying out an extra lap. Bauhaus is in, as is Igor Peter, and as is Sam Thompson. The top 3 are all in the pits now then, and so all 3 cars in the pit lane, in the Penske, Ferrari, and of course Andretti respectively. There is the Bauhaus. He's got first garage. Let's see, as Lucian's past Volker. Lucian up into 7th place. He's past Florian Volker, and he's up into P7 now then, as De Barros finishes his pit stop. Peter and Thompson currently being surfaced at the moment. And Peter has a garage advantage over Thompson as well, so that's that really. And Peter in front of Thompson after the pit stops. Kloss should be siving his way through the pit straight right now then. Well, should be very soon. In fact, Barros rejoins in second. Mutka's going to take the lead for the moment, but of course he's still yet to pit. There goes Kloss, I think that was it. No, there he is, look. He's currently on the inside of Kim Sung-min now then, but he got held up a bit, and he's very lucky he didn't hold him up too much, because Peter nearly jumped him there,
Not indeed, as Kim Sung-min is gonna pit this lap, and very lucky, and he is still ahead, so that's good stuff for him.
Indeed, and Kloss is still having trouble trying to get by Kim Sung-min in the Mercedes-powered manner at the moment, as he's now going to go onto the inside into turn 5. This should be an easier move. The Honda engine clearly more powerful than the Mercedes, and yep, easy through. Up into 4th place he goes. He's got Yuri Gabriel next, who should be also expected to pit very soon, as Peter now trying to attack Min as well. Of course, Peter on much fresher rubber than what Kim Sung-min is at the moment. Same with Thompson, but if he gets held up any further, it's going to allow Thompson to close up. As Fitzwater makes a little error going out of turn 5 there, lead to a lock up into turn 6, as he's pushing very hard to get back on the prowl of Zorbak. But all this holding up is allowing Thompson to get closer, Ra.
Yep, indeed. It's really good for him so far. He's now right behind at the moment.
He's going to try and have a go into this right-hander. It's not going to work out there. Will Thompson try and take full advantage now, because he's right in the slipstream of Igor Peter. Peter looking to the inside of Min, who's still covering off as Kloss gets on the inside of Gabriel, and I think he's got 3rd place if he's there. Thompson trying to go around the outside of Peter, but it's not going to quite work out. Kloss has got by Gabriel, so he's now up into 3rd position now. Then to Kloss, not wasting any time with the traffic, allowing him to build a gap between himself and Peter, who's still got Min right in front of him at the moment. Min now comes into the pits, but can Thompson capitalise? He's now right in the gearbox of Peter now then. He's going to go to the inside of the Brazilian now then. Side by side goes Thompson and Peter as they make their way down the pit straight towards the first corner now then. Side by side go the pair of them. Gomez is not, yeah, that's Gomez. Gomez is not far behind these two either, and Thompson has got the place, so that will be P3. Yeah, he's now up into P3 in fact, because Gabriel's also come in, but up into P3 goes Thompson, but keeping an eye on Peter, potentially down into turn 5, and also Gomez is now in this battle.
Yep, indeed. He's not far, but he could be closing in into this battle, as these two are now battling once again.
Yep, down the inside goes Peter. Is he going to retake the place from Thompson? He is indeed. Back up to P3 goes Thompson, as now he finds himself back in an Andretti sandwich, because of course Peter and Gomez are teammates, let's not forget. Even though they're in different coloured cars, they are teammates. They both drive for Andretti Autosport. So Peter probably trying to see if he can get his teammate to help him out a little bit, as Thompson now finds himself stuck in this Andretti sandwich.
Yep, indeed. As he's really struggling to get past the Andretti of Peter, and it's not looking good for him if he was to get a podium. But Gomez is right in the shot for a podium. He could actually get a podium here, is Gabriel Gomez.
8.8 seconds between the two Penske cars, which I thought I mentioned, as Holloway resuming his battle with Fitzwater after the pit stops. Of course, Fitzwater had the garage advantage compared to Holloway, as meantime Volker has passed his teammate Howe to get up into 12th, so he's only now 2 places away from the points. His next target is Joao Pedro Kirby in the Chip Ganassi car, as Holloway trying to put Zachary Fitzwater under a lot of pressure. We know that Fitzwater is very good at defending. We've seen it time and time again in these first 2 races of the season. He's doing it again here at Road America, but he's going to have to take some extra as we've seen, to try and get by on Fitzwater. Is a big lock up there for Federic Soper, as he was battling with Francesco La Rosa in front there, and well, that's that really. Thompson's repassed Peter. He's back up into P3. He's passed him into the first corner, but I fear it's going to happen again down at turn 5, Ra.
Yep, indeed. We are going to wait and see if it happens, and we are seeing it now.
Is Peter going to retake the place? I think it's going to be a copy and paste from the previous lap, and it is Peter once again retaking the place there. Thompson's going to have to think of something else if he wants to make the move legit on Peter, because otherwise he's just going to keep coming back at him at turn 5. And we know how powerful the Honda engine is. It seems that the Ferrari and the Honda seem to have a little bit of similar power at the moment, Ra. As look at Gomez now, he's all over the back of Thompson, but Thompson's going to cover him off for the moment.
Yep, indeed. It does seem that the Andretti's are really exposing the Ferrari.
Yeah, it seems so, and Gomez trying to help out in any way he can, and if Gomez keeps putting pressure on Thompson, it's just going to allow Peter to get away just a little bit. Gomez tried to have a go there, he might have a go down into this right-hander. Can he get up into P4? Gomez looking to the inside of Thompson. Thompson didn't even think about defending it. Gomez on the inside, can he grab P4? No, he can't. The Ferrari just able to hold on for the moment now, then to make the way underneath the bridge, and I think Thompson, obviously, there's now a gap formed between Peter and Thompson, all because of this battle that's happening between the pair of them now. Then coming out the final turn and back onto the pit straight now, then we will go as Gomez now then looks to the inside of Sam Thompson now then as I go side by side down the pit straight heading towards the first corner now then. Is Gomez going to grab P4 from Sam Thompson down the inside? No, he can't. Look like Thompson left his braking a little bit late there through into the first corner, but it did allow Peter to create a gap, Raw.
Yep, indeed. That's good for him so far, giving him some breathing space for now. But how long will it take for Thompson and Gomez to close in on him?
Gap now 10.1 seconds between De Barros and Kloss. It's very clear that De Barros is pretty much doing what he did similarly in Austin, which is just create a gap in front at this point in time, and Kloss is just running quite a lonely race in second, but you'd have to say very good recovery for him. Well, I say a lonely race, he's still only got a tiny bit of a gap between himself and Peter, but so far either way, Ra, a brilliant recovery for him considering he started down in 10th.
Yep, indeed. To be fair, it is easy for overtaking, but you gotta take it at the right moment, and he surely did.
Did so indeed, and whether Peter is lapping quicker than Kloss, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Peter is running fresher tyres than what Kloss is. I think a couple of laps fresher than what Kloss is at the moment. Meantime, just behind Thompson and Gomez, resuming their battle for fourth position as Gomez looks to the inside of Thompson. Can he get the move done this time into this right-hander? And this time he does. Up into P4 goes Gabriel Gomez. Will Thompson try and get him back onto the pit straight because the traction wasn't exactly ideal there for Gabriel Gomez. He might try and get him back onto the pit straight. Let's see.
Yep, indeed. As we're onto the pit straight. Oh, yellow flag. It's Fitzwater.
Oh, not again. Zachary Fitzwater once again was in a good points position. This was like it last week, and it looks like it is an accident. And it is driver error, it looks like. He had nobody around him because unseen by the cameras, Holloway eventually got past him, and it looks like just a driver error here, Ra.
Yeah, but he does know what he wants, and you could say he is one of he has a record of being one of the unluckiest drivers in the entire OC, and it really shows why he is, and it's really painful to see.
On this occasion, though, you could argue it was all on him on this occasion because he was the one that caused the driver error there as Lucien tried to have a go at Volker there, but it's now putting prey. As Thompson has actually re-overtaken Gomez. He's back up into fourth position, so as expected, he has got him back on the pit straight, but I fear Gomez is going to do what Peter did similarly a couple of laps ago, which is pass him down into turn 5. Let's see, down the inside goes the Brazilian. Gomez on the inside of Thompson. Has he got the place back this time? And yes, he has. Back up to fourth place goes Gabriel Gomez in the Andretti. So it's 1-2 for Penske and 3-4 for Andretti.
Yep, indeed. So far, so good, and the Andretti thought he used that perfectly. And of course, yeah, we're on board with Sam and Mitka in the Carlin. And yeah, the Carlin does have a Chevrolet engine. And see, that's how it's going for a move.
He's going to the inside, and that's P12 for Jordan Howell. He's got the move done on Alex-Eric Lucien there. Lucien originally got him, but Howell got him back, and Lucien has got to be aware of Simon Mutka is just behind. So the battle for fourth continuing between Gomez and Thompson now. Then Thompson trying to get him back down into this right-hander, but Gomez is going to cover him off and hold on to fourth place for the moment. But I think this is going to be a few laps of switching and swapping at the moment, Ra.
Yep, indeed. We don't know who will get fourth place. They'll probably go down to the final lap, or even I think they will have the second piece of the pit stops.
I'm just trying to figure out who has the fastest lap at the moment. Does De Barros have the fastest lap, or is it someone?
Yeah.
It's De Barros. So I'll get onto it in a little bit because Thompson back on the inside of Gomez, and I think he's got P4 again. The Ferrari and the Honda seemingly very similar on power, it seems, going down the straight, and Thompson retakes fourth from Gomez. But let's see if Gomez is still close behind him after they come out of what is technically turn 3, because that little curve is apparently classed as a corner, I think. Although no, I think that is turn 2. I think these curves here are classes 2 corners here, and I don't think Gomez is close enough this time by, although he is getting back into the slipstream now. But is it a little bit too late? Let's see. Thompson defends the inside, and he's going to hold on to fourth this time, Ross. So looked like on that occasion Thompson just able to find a little bit more to stay ahead.
Yep, indeed. As Lucian's now got back ahead of Howell for 12th.
So back up to 12th because I say Lucian ahead of Jordan Howe there. And I just want to point out as well, because of course you do get a bonus point for the fastest lap as well. I can tell you right now, if it stays as it is, Bruno de Barros will take the lead in the championship by just 1 point ahead of Igor Peter. As meantime, Mutka now on the inside of Howe, and he's got 13th from Howe. So Howe and Lucian swapping is going to end now because Mutka has now got in between them.
Yep, indeed, and I mean it's been a disastrous race for him, and you can say it really just sums up his career.
He has. He does really need to prove himself this season because he has had two tricky seasons in both Formula E and BTCC respectively, and he really needs to get a move on here in World ChampCar. And so far hasn't played out as Mutka, having understeered through into the carousel, similar to what we saw from Gomez earlier. Howell again, though, not able to capitalise, just like we saw earlier with Zorbach. And Howell just trying to place his car in a position where he can try and re-overtake Simon Mutka, potentially down into this right-hander we're coming up to now. But Mutka covers the inside, and he's going to hold on to 13th for the moment, as we're pretty close to the halfway stage of this race here at Road America. And just a reminder as well, for anybody who's just joined us, we do have the premiere tonight for the German Grand Prix highlights. That's at 8 p.m. BST, so be aware of that one. Some more content coming your way a little bit later on tonight on the GP4 channel. Meantime, the gap 12.8 seconds between the two Penske's is Howe back on the inside now. Simon Mutka in his fight for 13th position as the McLaren driver. It looks like the Carlin just having an edge on him on the straight, and as a result, Mutka's just going to stay in front for the moment.
Yep, indeed, and it's so far looking up for a hit from Mutka, but he needs to try and get in the points. Meanwhile, Volker, he's actually in 10th, and he's actually got past Kirby somewhere. I don't know where, but he's actually on the back of Cassidy for 9th.
He's now in the points. Kirby now finding himself just outside of the points at the moment, and now fighting with Cassidy for P9 at the moment. As meantime, Gomez back. This battle for 4th is back on because Gomez is now back on the gearbox of Sam Thompson now then, as all of this is allowing Peter to just creep away now from Thompson. The gap nearly 2 seconds between Thompson and Peter as Gomez just continues to put pressure on Thompson right in front now then, as we're now at the halfway stage. Lap 20 of 40 here at Road America. Looked like Thompson just missed the apex there going underneath the bridge, as now going around the final turn will Gomez try and retake 4th place from the pole sitter Sam Thompson as they now come down the pit straight. Up the hill they go, down the pit straight we go as Gomez looks to the inside of Sam Thompson now then. As you would have told, the rain that we got earlier on in the race has cleared, so as expected, no chance of the weather wetting up the track. Thompson's just going to hold on through into turn 1, just had enough to break that a little bit later and stay in front. Meantime, I think Peter may be starting to close in a little bit on course. I can't 100% tell, but he is starting to close in just a little bit as Soper had a little bit of an oversteer moment going underneath the bridge.
Yep, indeed. Then, well, if Peter is closing in on cost, then battle for second could be on.
Yeah, the battle for second could be on, as we were looking at a Penske 1-2 earlier on, but Peter, knowing that his championship lead could be taken away, wants to see if he could still hold on going into the next race, which will be in 2 weeks. Meantime, the battle for ninth continuing between Thomas Cassidy and the 5-time top-class champion Florian Volker, and I think if I'm not mistaken, the Meyershank has a Honda engine in the back of it, and the McLaren has a Chevy engine, and I am correct on that, and we've seen that the Honda just has a little bit more power, just like in the top class. Bit more power! Contact there! There was contact there as Cassidy locked up going into turn 6 there, and looked like Volker just been caught unawares there. Very lucky for the pair of them.
Yeah, I don't think there was nothing Volker could do from that, but yeah, very lucky. It could have been a lot worse if it was big contact there.
Yeah, indeed, but very lucky that the pair of them did not get any damage from that. It's allowed Kirby to close in just a little bit as a result, but very lucky for both Volker and Cassidy that both of their races didn't come to an end there. Both of them, I think, are still yet to score a point this season, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I am correct. Cassidy still yet to score points at the moment, and same for Volker as well. In fact, they're both 16th and 17th respectively in the Drivers' Championship based on their results, as Volker again trying to have a go at Cassidy through into that right-hander. Will he try and now have a go down to this right-hander here that we're coming up to? Cassidy look like he's going to cover the inside. All this battling is just going to allow Kirby to close in again on these two as the fight for the lower region of the points continues as they now make their way underneath the bridge. Through the left-hander we go, and Kirby, in fact, dropping back surprisingly enough. So it seems like he doesn't have the pace compared to these two on this stint at least, as Volker on the slipstream now then of Thomas Cassidy. Down the pit straight go the German and the Venezuelan now then. Down the pit straight we go. Cassidy just has the edge thanks to that Honda engine that's powering the back of the Meyershank at the moment, and Volker with the Chevy power just not able to get a hold of the Honda engine at the moment as they make their way down towards turn 2. It's Gomez is up to 4th. He's past Thompson. So up into P4 goes Gomez, and he's got him down into turn 5. So maybe the crucial point on the track where the overtakes need to matter. So back up to P4 then goes Gabriel Gomez in the Andretti. Volker now then back on the inside of Thomas Cassidy as the McLaren and the Meyershank continue to scrap it out for 9th. Volker on the inside, but again just doesn't seem to have the power compared to the Honda. And now the battle for second is on. Igor Peter now right on the back of Belcher's Kloss. Here we go, Ra.
Yep, we need it. Plus, really lost a lot of time, and it seems that he was pretty slow, it seemed. And now he is really on, as you said, and he is going for the move, like Peter.
He's going to the inside of Kloss, but Kloss is just going to cover him off there. It looked like he missed the apex going through the flat-out right-hander there. Did the Polish driver. Now going underneath the bridge, 16 seconds now the gap as a result of this battle that's going on for second place now then between the Andretti and the Penske. Coming around the final turn now then, will Peter get the move done now on Barcher's Kloss as he look to the inside, going down the pit straight, side by side, go the pair of them. Is Peter going to get the move done on the Penske? Both of them powered by a Honda engine as they make their way onto the pit straight, I think anyway. I might be wrong on that. As meantime, Thompson again back on the inside of the Andretti. It's a Chevy power, in fact, that's powering the Andretti. I do apologise. So the Honda having an advantage on the straight compared to the Chevy at the moment, because of course, unlike in real life, Andretti is Chevy in this series, and Penske is Honda, unlike in real life indeed. Fantasy error for you. But anyway, Peter on the inside of Kloss. Would he get the move done down into turn 5 now then? Down the inside into turn 5. He's going to leave his brakes very late, and there you go. Peter up into second place and ruining the 1-2 as Gomez gets back up to the 4th, as once again Thompson and Gomez continue to switch in their battle for 4th.
Yep, indeed. And it's all, of course, not over until it's over. And now Volker's now still at the back of Cassidy.
He's been stuck behind him for a while. If he can't get by him on track, he's going to have to wait till the second round of pit stops if he wants to try and jump him in the pits. And again, same result. The Honda engine just keeping in front, keeping the Meyershank in front of the Chevy-powered McLaren at this point. The Arrow McLaren SP, that is. Here is Bruno de Bauer still comfortably leading this race, doing exactly what he did in Austin and just running away with it out in front as this battle for 4th continues. Same with the battle for 2nd. That's up in front at the moment as now Thompson looking to the inside of Gomez, but again, not able to get the move done as Peter, in fact, is starting to create a gap, in fact, to Kloss. So he's actually starting to pull away from the Polish driver.
Yep, indeed, and that's actually what he needs if he wants to keep his championship lead from Bruno de Barros.
Because as a result, because de Barros has still got the fastest lap of the race at the moment, he'll get 26 points. 18 points will go the way of Igor Peter. The gap will actually be down to 2 points between Peter and de Barros if it were to stay as it is at the moment. As Thompson back on the inside of Gomez, and I think the same rinse and repeat here, and Thompson back up into 4th, but I think Gomez is going to try and line them up again into turn number 5 now, then coming around turn 2 and then through turns 3 and 4, which are these little kinks that are coming down here, down this little back straight that we're on. And I think Gomez is just going to do the same thing as he's been doing these previous laps, just sticking in the slipstream of Thompson. On the inside he goes then down into turn 5. He should retake the place as a result, and yep, back up to 4th place he goes. These two just can't stop swapping places at the moment, Ra.
Could be another big thing for these two, for Gomez and Thompson, until the next race.
Having said that, they've not got much of a... They are not that far behind Barcher's Kloss at the moment, so even though they're keeping on fighting, they're still keeping close with the Polish driver, so we could be looking at a three-way scrap for 3rd in a few laps' time. We'll have to wait and see, maybe even after the second round of pit stops. We'll have to wait and see. Volker's still stuck behind Thomas Cassidy. He just can't seem to find a way past the Meyershank racing car at the moment.
The fact that he's behind Jordan Howe in the championship speaks a lot to knowing that this is how the McLaren, this is what you're dealing with in the McLaren.
Yeah, indeed, as they now make their way towards the carousel. And now, because they're battling, Kirby is now on the back of this scrap, so it's now become a three-way scrap for 9th position between the Meyershank, the Arrow McLaren, and now the Chip Ganassi. Of course, Kirby, the only Chip Ganassi left in the race as a result of Fitzwater's crash down into the corner. They're soon going to be approaching, as now Volker again, just trying to put Cassidy under pressure. But Cassidy, even though he's got a 5-time top-class champion behind him, clearly not phased at the moment.
I mean, he is pretty experienced in other series, but not as experienced as Florian Volker, who has been in the top class for most of his career, and he spent 2 seasons in DTM.
Indeed, there's a got a yellow flag, and it's Frederick Soper, and I think he's made the same mistake as Fitzwater down into this corner, and it is an accident. So, yeah, I do think this is another driver error, and it is. He had no one around him, and, well, key error for Frederick Soper,
Yeah, I mean it's similar for as Vitor, but yeah, more big consequences. But yeah,
And well, that's really that then for Frederick Soper after getting after what happened to Soper last time out. In fact, after well, what happened in Austin really, where he was fighting for points and obviously bottling it by losing his front wing after a collision with Muka. Has gone
Hmm.
back to that. Cassidy's gone wide because he's locked up. This is the best chance that Volker's had on Cassidy, but again, the power of the Honda engine just going to keep him in front. Volker switches back to the inside, and can he get the place this time of Cassidy? Can he punish him for that mistake? No, he can't. The Honda engine again, just keeping Volker in front for the meantime, but that was nearly costly for Cassidy there.
Yeah, but indeed, it was a lucky scare from Cassidy, and yeah, he really got away with that.
Time Barchis Bracchi now there on the inside of Francesco La Rosa in their fight for 15th, and Bracchi gets the move done there on the Italian to get up into 15th position in the Viper racing car. Mano and Viper continuing their little battle they're having towards the back of the field, of course. Because the cars are not equal, of course, we have to look at, when it comes to the sign-up process, this series and, of course, Formula E a little bit differently because it's not an equal series. As meantime, the battle for ninth still continuing between Cassidy, Volker, and Kirby. Meanwhile, Volker trying to find a gap on the inside. Kirby might try and look around the outside of Volker, but it's not going to quite work out. Similar to the result that we've seen a couple of times during this race, and Volker just going to stay in front for the moment, but Kirby really wanted to put some pressure on, as well as Thompson again, who takes fourth from Gomez. I wonder if that's down at turn 1, and it is, so I'm going to guess same result here down into turn 5, although there is a bit of a gap this time by between the pair of them, but I think Gomez will still have enough to get in front of Thompson. Let's see, Danny inside goes Gabriel Gomez, the 2017 DTM champion, and once again through into fourth. And as expected, I talked about it earlier, even though these two keep on fighting, they're both catching up to Kloss at the moment. As meantime, the second round of stops will be getting underway this lap, as both Volker and Kirby will be coming into the pits this lap. But yeah, as I was saying, it just even though they keep fighting, both Gomez and Thompson, they're both going quicker than Kloss at the moment.
Yep, indeed, and I should be questioning Zorberg's pace if he is catching up to all three of them. I do wonder if he is, but I'm not so sure. As we see Gomez back up in fourth on the leaderboard, and yeah, Volker also coming in with Kirby, as you said.
Yep, we're now into the second round of pit stops now then. Nobody in the top 5 looking to blink at the moment. But yeah, you could just see, look, Gomez and Thompson just getting that a little bit closer to the Penske of Kloss. Even though they keep swapping places on the track. Although it does look like on that occasion, you could just see in the background, Gomez looks like he's now got a bit of a gap to Thompson.
Yep, indeed, and hopefully he can keep that gap, and hopefully he can try and overtake Brotches Kloss for third place.
We'll see, of course, but we are expecting the pit stops, and Volker couldn't get the job done on track with Cassidy, and given that Cassidy is not pitting this lap, he's going to try and see if he can jump him in the pit. So Meyer Shank have got to be on their toes with this one. Maybe they're going to try and stretch it out a bit just to see if he can get some fresher tyres on the car to see if they can catch back up on Volker and Kirby, because keep an eye on these two anyway. Volker and Kirby in the pit, and not sure who's got garage advantage between these two. We'll keep an eye out on that one as they both now come into the pit lane, and there are the two mechanics there, and I think I'm going to guess that Kirby's the one that's going to have garage advantage, and he is. So I would imagine if Chip Ganassi get it done, they should be able to jump Volker in the pits. There's Lucian also in the pits there as well. Luckily, Volker not getting held up there. He got in before Volker's pit stop was finished, and I think Kirby's going to jump it. No, in fact, McLaren just doing enough there to stay in front. 5 tenths, the difference made between the pit stops there, and it was just enough for Volker to not get impeded by that garage advantage there. So he's going to stay out in front of Kirby as a result. Meantime, as we had a little bit of an awkward silence there, and meantime, as we got this battle for third continuing, Thompson and Gomez back on the prowl of Gomez, but all the while they are getting close to that gearbox of Barcic Kloss, and well, it just shows that on this stint, Kloss is really struggling, and now he's feeling the pressure from Gabriel Gomez.
Yep, indeed, and he's not going strong. He's not been the strongest in this stint. I feel like he has really killed those tires as Barcic Kloss. As now we see Gomez on the move on Barcic Kloss. Can he get him?
I don't think he is. I think Kloss is just going to have enough. Of course, that Honda engine in the back of the Penske really helping Kloss out. We saw this when he was battling with Peter, but it always seemed that Peter had an edge on him going down into turn 5. Could that be the same for Peter's teammate, Gabriel Gomez? Let's see, it's Toby Holloway in the Peugeot is now in the pits, but we're going to keep an eye on this fight for third position now. Then Gomez on the inside of Barch's Kloss going down towards turn 5. Can Gomez get the move done on the Polish driver? Down the inside into turn 5, and just like with Igor Peter, Gomez up into third place. Now could Thompson try and get a hold of Kloss?
Yep, indeed, that was a great move. As we see more pit stops, Holloway and Cassidy are coming in. Will the undercut work for Volker? We will find out.
Cassidy's into the pits, just keep an eye on the bottom with Volker and Kirby as well, because they both were fighting with Cassidy before the pit stops. As Peter is coming into the pits this lap, I just saw the indicator there for him. There's Volker coming down the pit straight. Where is Cassidy now then as they make the way down the pit straight? There's Cassidy just on the right hand side there, and I think Volker has jumped him. Yes, he has. Volker has jumped Cassidy. Has Kirby also done the same? Yes, he has. Both of them have jumped Cassidy, but Cassidy does have fresher tyres, so we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. But both Volker and Kirby been able to do what they were supposed to do, and that's jump Cassidy.
Yep, indeed. That's what they needed to get more points.
And as mentioned, Igor Peter is pitting at the end of this lap as this battle between Kloss and Thompson continues now, as Gomez creating a gap now between himself and Barch's Kloss before he makes his pit stop. Peter is now in the pits, I do believe, but we're going to keep an eye on this scrap for the moment before we get back onto Peter as they now go side by side. There's Peter, look, he's just on the right hand side there. He's just come into the pits as Thompson's pitting at the end of this lap, but he's going to go onto the inside of Barch's Kloss. Down the inside goes the Ferrari-powered Ferrari. Made no sense what I just said there. Able to hang it around the outside there. Gomez is also coming into the pits at the end of this lap now. Then Zorbach is also into the pits, same lap as Peter, coming out of turn 2 now. Then will Thompson do what Gomez did earlier on and make the pass down into turn 5? He's going to look to the inside. Down the inside goes the pulsar to Sam Thompson as they go to side by side down towards turn number 5 now. Then down the inside goes Thompson, and that was a pretty much straightforward pass up into P3 on the road. That is, will be P4 after the pit stops, but up into P3 goes Sam Thompson as Peter rejoins in 6th after his pit stop. And Zorbach, is he going to come out in 7th? I think he will. Yep, he's just going to come out just in front of Jordan Howe. So in P7 goes Nicholas Zorbach after his pit stop.
Yep, indeed. He just about gets out of Jordan Howe. Hopefully they can hold him up, Joe. Yuri said, nice one, Joe.
Anyway,
that's makes sense. Yeah,
I kind of messed up there with the Ferrari-powered Ferrari. But anyway, I just saw there DeBauers is coming into the pits this lap as Volker having to deal with some traffic himself. He's currently stuck behind Yuri Gabriel in the Manor at the moment. Sorry, the Viper, I apologise. But DeBauers is in, so the top 3 are all coming in on this lap. I think Kloss is staying out from what I saw, because I don't think, obviously he will be, because DeBauers is in the pit, so Kloss will be staying out for an extra lap. And Volker's still stuck behind Yuri Gabriel at the moment. This is not helping him, because all the while you've got Cassidy trying to chase him down, although it looked like Volker might have the traction going into turn 6 as he's trying to go side by side with the Brazilian, but Gabriel just holding on. Now it's put Kirby and Cassidy close in this battle for what will be the low reaches of the points once everybody pits. Gomez is in the pits. We also know that Thompson is in the pits this lap as well. Yep, he's in, so the top 3 are all in the pits this lap. As this battle for what will be the low reach of the points continues, as they're all stuck behind the Viper of Yuri Gabriel, who's still yet to pit, of course. Volker looking to the inside. Cassidy looking to the inside of Kirby. Not going to quite work out. DeBauers rejoins, meanwhile, in 2nd place. Gets himself in front of Gonzalez, who's still yet to pit, and he's still making a recovery after a tricky qualified second. Kirby on the inside of Volker. Has he got the move done? No, Volker just holds on for the moment, and Cassidy is back with this lot. He's got about a couple of laps or 1 lap fresher tyres compared to Volker and Kirby at the moment. Into the final turn. We will now go then as Gabriel comes into the pits, but Volker is going to leave himself prone to 2 Honda-powered cars behind.
Yep, indeed. That's not actually what you want. He's been really exposed, and look how close Kirby is. He's alongside, looks ahead.
Going to be 3 wide into the first corner. Is it going to be a double pass for Cassidy? As Kirby and Cassidy both get by on Volker. Cassidy didn't get the move done on Kirby, but Volker has just been mugged.
That's actually not what you want as a 5-time world champion in the LC. That is embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
Indeed. But he's not done yet. But Cassidy losing the slipstream to Kirby to stay in front of Volker, as he's now going back onto the inside of Kirby. And just like it was in the pit stop, Cassidy ahead of both of them as he passes Kirby down to turn 5. Volker trying to get on the inside of Kirby, but it's not going to work out. He just didn't have the traction compared to Kirby. But Cassidy, we're back where we were before the pit stops were.
Yep, indeed, back at the points for him, and hopefully he can stay in this point, in the points, and below it in the chat saying he's just questioning the engine.
Yeah, Kloss meanwhile is into the pits for Penske, so that will give the lead back to Bruno de Barros, and so we'll be interested to see where Kloss rejoins, because of course he was around where Gomez and Thompson were. Peter should get back up into second, which he does. Gonzalez in the Ferrari is also into the pits. And Kloss, where is he going to emerge then after this pit stop? Through goes Gomez, through goes Thompson, and he's going to emerge in 5th position, just in front of Nicolas Zorbach. But on this occasion, unlike the previous stint, he's now got fresher tyres compared to Thompson and Gomez. So, podium may be still on for Kloss.
Yep, indeed, he's still on, and I'm surprised on how close Zorbach is to Cross. And yeah, it really showed the undercut really worked. But if he can keep this pace up, Zorbach, he could be just in a shot.
Yeah, indeed, but it's fair to say, lock up there for Gabriel Gomez as he makes his way up into turn 6 there. He's got a bit of a gap between himself and Thompson, but that won't have done his tyres any good there.
Yep, indeed, that's not what he wants, and that's gonna really ruin his tyres later on when it gets to the end of the race.
Indeed so, and Zorbach, I think, pitted around about the same time as, I think, who did he pit? He pitted at the same time as Igor Peter, I believe, so he's got 1 lap older tyres compared to Gomez and Thompson at this point, and obviously older tyres compared to Kloss, who has probably got 3 laps fresher tyres compared to him at this point in time. Here's Igor Peter looking pretty secure in second place. It's the same top 2 as it was in Austin, but at the moment, because I do believe de Barros is still holding on to the fastest lap of the race at the moment. I think we'll get a clarification on the top left just to be sure. Come back to that though, because Volker is currently attacking Kirby for P10 right now. He wants to get back into the points right now as Volker looks to the inside of Kirby, but Kirby again covers the inside off into the corner there, and Volker just getting more and more frustrated. He clearly wants more power in the back of that McLaren.
You need to get the infamous Jeremy Clarkson line. Power! You need more power!
Yeah, indeed. And clearly the Chevy engine compared to the Honda really not working out down the straight. And Volker experiencing some issues. We've got a yellow flag. It's at the carousel. We've got a yellow flag down at the carousel. And it's Yuri Gabriel who's gone off. And he's the first victim of the carousel. I did talk about earlier on how that was one of the corners where if you get it wrong, go off the track, it's going to be catastrophic for you. And it's clearly happened for Yuri Gabriel. Another man who, it's fair to say, throughout this season has had quite a lot of bad luck this season.
Yep, indeed. And an error, unfortunately. Got on the curb and just puts himself in the gravel and into the wall.
As a result, we're now down to 17 runners as a result. We saw earlier on that Gomez, and I think it was, there was somebody else who had understeer going through into that corner earlier on. Gabriel also caught catching the understeer, but with more dramatic consequences, and that's his race done with. And for the second time in the first 3 races, Gabriel finds himself out of the race. And, like I said, he's just been a man with lots of bad luck this season, it's fair to say. And, it's just that just compels his misery so far this season. Volker's past Kirby. He's up into 10th. Volker back in the points, and he's finally found a way through on Kirby and gets himself into 10th position. Back in the points goes the 5-time top class champion. Now we're back in the same sort of position as we were before the pit stops. Volker trying to close down on Thomas Cassidy.
The Jeremy Clarkson line really worked, it seems. He got more power, and he went through.
Meanwhile, Gonzalez, who has been making his way up through the field after only qualifying in 14th yesterday, he's now in the points in 8th, and he's now attacking Toby Holloway for what is 7th place. As mentioned, same with Kloss, really, a brilliant recovery for the Spaniard.
Yep, indeed, and so he's been great use with that Ferrari, and I mean with Thompson in 4th, I feel like this is a good stuff for Ferrari if he gets up into 7th.
Let's see, because he's now on the inside of Toby Holloway. We do know how powerful that Ferrari engine is down the straight. We think it's on similar levels to the Honda engine when it comes down the straight. Is that going to work out for Gonzalez? He's on the inside of the Peugeot Toby Holloway, and that's an easy pass for Rubino Gonzalez. But I would keep an eye on what happens down into turn 5 in case Toby Holloway tries to attack him back.
Yep, indeed.
And it looks like Gonzalez has actually now created a bit of a gap between himself and Holloway, so he is now officially up into 7th place. Up into P7 goes the Spaniard of Rubino Gonzalez, who's clearly having a much better time in this series as he did last season, given all the bad luck he had last season. It's fair to say. It's Bracky's got a problem. It's a loose wheel for Bracky. And, well, it's a shame, really, because the problem happened just as he was on the pit straight. Because as you can see, he's got the pit indicator next to his name, which meant it can be repairable. But it had to happen down at the pit straight, and I fear this could be race over for him.
Really bad timing, it seems, and I can't believe that one. It hurts. It does really hurt.
If he can't make it back to the pits, it's going to be a long lap. But if he can't make it back to the pits, it's going to be a double retirement for Viper, and we'll be down to 16 runners as a result. Viper have not had a very good weekend here at Road America, it seems.
The Monster Energy doesn't really work. I think they put too much of that in their car, and they pretty much put too much in their wheels.
Yep, and that is race over for Barch's Kloss. Unfortunate where the issue happened. Had it just happened just as he was coming towards the final corner, he would have made it back to the pits. But unfortunately, because it happened on the pit straight, just as he was past the pit straight, and because the issue got worse, it is race over for Barch's Bracky. A double retirement for Viper Racing. And, yeah.
You got confused from Bracky and Kloss.
And that's just it for Bracky. As Mutka, meanwhile, on the inside of Alex Lucian in this fight for 12th position. And that looks like it's going to be an easy pass for the Carlin. And yep, up into 12th place goes Simon Mutka there.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, and anyway, as we now look at the rest of the field, as it looks like Kloss, just looking at the gap between him and Thompson, 1.4 seconds is the gap between him. We know he's on fresher tyres compared to the two of them in front and could still grab a podium for what, well, currently now they currently are on lap 33. I've got the laps a little bit confused there, but they've got 7 and a bit laps to go on their end for Barch's Kloss to try and get himself onto the podium. So that's something to really keep aware of. And he's not actually that far behind Peter, because Peter's only just come around the final corner now. And there's Gomez. You can just see him there look in the background. So they're not that far away from Igor Peter. So I think it's a little bit too much of a far reach to get second for Barch's Kloss, but you never know, really.
Gomez, it's possible he could get second. I mean, I think he gained half a second within the middle and the final sector combined. He gained more in the middle sector, it seemed, and he's there, but I don't know. We will see.
Indeed, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. The gap 1.3 seconds between Cassidy and Volker. It seems that Cassidy's fresher tyres clearly helping him keep that gap consistent between himself and Florian Volker at the moment. Meantime, La Rosa and Min back at it in a fight for 15th. I think we saw these two fight it out before the pit stops as La Rosa trying to get onto the inside of Min, but it wasn't going to work out there for him. And there's Kloss look in the background. He's getting very close to the back of Sam Thompson, and just going to have a look once it flicks over after we see these two, what the gap is like. Last time we checked, it was 1.4 seconds between Thompson and Kloss. What is it this time by as they make their way through into the carousel? Gap is just having a look, 1.3 seconds. He hasn't really gained that much that time by, which is a little bit of a surprise.
Hey, Thompson might have looked out his tires a bit, but then again, speaking of which, he's gained more time, so it is 1.1 at the moment.
Indeed, and it might explain really because the first sector, there's not really that much technical corners there. It's the middle sector where you're going to gain most of the time because that's where all the, as I like to call it, twiddly bits are. And anyway, it's Francesca La Rosa now. They're just trying to go onto the inside of Kim Sung Min then in their little fight for 15th. The two-manner drivers fighting, and into 15th goes La Rosa fighting for towards the back of the field. But at least they've had a better weekend compared to Viper so far.
Yep, indeed. And I don't know where they are in the team championship. Really exists. But yeah, it's a better weekend for them.
Well, they are currently down in last in the championship because, of course, let's not forget, Viper actually scored points last time out in Austin with Barch's Bracky. It was a brilliant performance for him indeed. And unfortunately, back to reality for Viper as a result. But it doesn't look like any of the bottom two teams, or the rookie teams as they've been dubbed in this series, are going to get any points this time by because both Min and La Rosa down at the back in 15th and 16th, of course, with the 16 cars that are left in this race. As here is Bruno de Barros now then, who's going to be starting lap 36 of 40 very soon, which will give him 5 laps to go here at Road America. And I think it's fair to say, Ra, we've never had any racing here at Road America before in the OC, but I think it's fair to say the racing here is absolutely amazing. Good, obviously, because we're in the fancy era. Would you mind ever having a race here in the future for the top class, Ra? Because I'd personally be up for it, because it's quite an amazing track.
Yeah, I would be up for it, but then again, knowing the wider cars in the fantasy era, with the cars that we're using, it is wider and wider than these cars, and it's definitely wider than the F2 cars. I wouldn't mind. I would definitely would recommend this as a Formula 2 track. I would also not mind it being in the top class.
Oh, who knows, really? Of course, Yui's not getting influenced, of course, by the calendar, of course, hence why he said no suggestions, of course, because, as we know, I think I've said it a few times on top class shoes as well, Yui does have this little list he's got, really, of potential tracks that could be on the calendar in the future. I think it's like a test sheet or whatever, and basically, I don't know if this has been included on his list at all. I know he's added a few tracks in recently, but who knows, really? Maybe one is. Yeah, he just said that it is. So, who knows, really? Maybe this could be a top-class venue in the future. Who knows? Obviously, I wouldn't mind 2 American races, personally, or maybe as, like, an intertwine with Austin. I don't know. But because Austin's also a very good track, in my opinion, as well. I don't think Austin gets that much credit, really, to be honest, in the real-life F1 season, even in the top class as well, because it is a very good track, in my opinion. But that's just personal preference, really. Anyway, back to the action. We've got 5 laps to go, soon to be 4 laps to go, because Bruno de Barros is now coming around the final corner. As you just said, there's actually like 100 odd tracks on his list there in our little Discord chat. So a very long spreadsheet, it's fair to say. But anyway, 4 laps to go now. They're here at Road America, 26.6 seconds for Bruno de Barros. And I know it's a little bit early to say, Rob, but just like in Austin, it's just been a smooth control race for the Brazilian.
Yep, indeed, and I feel like this is pretty much a breakthrough so far at the moment. And yeah, he hasn't had some luck, but I think he deserves this kind of luck. And he's done pretty well. It looks like a lights to flag win at this point.
Well, look at this. The 2 Andretti cars, Gomez is lapping quicker than Peter at the moment. Clearly, there's no team orders at Andretti because the gap is now down to 1.7 seconds between the 2 Andretti cars at the moment. Whether Gomez will get onto the gearbox by the end of this, I'm not sure. But I did just see in the background, Kloss is right onto the gearbox of Thompson. So the battle for 4th is now well and truly on between Thompson and Kloss. And he needs to really hurry up because I think the chance of a podium row is starting to slip away for Kloss a little bit.
Yep, indeed, and it doesn't look like he might get him this lap, but we will see. We'll have to keep on staying on board with him for a little while and see if he can get the move done. He is starting to close in, but it depends if he overtakes him here or even later on, maybe even during the start finish straight, he could get a podium, but we will see. Second could be out of the cards.
Here we go, though, in this battle for 4th. Kloss on the inside of Thompson. Thompson deciding to leave the door open. We saw that a little bit earlier on, I think, with another battle earlier on in the race. But we've got 3 laps to go as de Barros has started lap 38 of 40 here at Road America. It's been a fantastic first ever OC race here at Road America. I thoroughly enjoyed this race so much. You can tell how much I've been chatting. It's given me a similar vibe to Austria, this track has really, especially with the opening few laps of the race we've had. But here we go then. Kloss's first chance on Thompson now then as they go down the pit straight side by side. Go the pair of them now then into the first corner and look at this. Side by side they go, level on terms. Into the first corner, has Kloss got the move done on Thompson, down the inside goes the Polish driver, and there we go, up into 4th place goes Barcher's Kloss, but we might as well keep an eye on Thompson because he might do what we've seen with what he's done with Peter and Gomez in this race, and that's maybe try and get him back into turn 5. Let's see.
Yeah, but this is the Penske car that we're talking about, so there could be some differences between engine power.
Oh, good point, because the Penske is powered by the Honda and the Andretti is powered by the Chevy. Thompson, though, going to the inside, and he's going to retake the place. So, clearly, similar characteristics there, even with the engine, the Ferrari engine, still holding its own out at the moment, and Thompson holding on to 4th for the moment.
Yeah, really good defending, really good fight back, actually, from Sam Thompson. And this could be ruling out Kloss's chance of a podium, it seems.
Time is really running out for the Polish driver at the moment. It looks like it could be a double podium for the Andretti. And going into this race, of course, it was actually Peter de Barros and Gomez in the top three. So those three are currently on the podium at the moment. But of course, after qualifying yesterday, Thompson put himself up into third place, mainly because on a countback, because he's had a third place this season, whereas Gomez hasn't, although that looks like it's going to change at the moment, because Gomez is up in third place. It's exactly 1 second now between the two Andretti cars, so maybe we could see a final lap scrap between the two Andrettis, providing that Gomez can find that little bit extra in this penultimate lap. But anyway, back to this battle for fourth now. Kloss on the inside of Thompson on the penultimate lap of the race. They're going to go once again side by side down the pit straight. Kloss needs to figure something extra if he wants to keep hold of fourth place after this first corner. Down the inside he goes and he retakes fourth. But let's keep an eye on turn 5, because Thompson could still line him up again like we saw in the previous lap and retake the place from the Penske driver. Through into turn 2 now. Then we will go out of turn 2. Down this back straight we go, which will be approaching turns 3 and 4. These curves we're going now then. Thompson in the slipstream once again of Barcia's Kloss, looking to the inside of the Penske driver. Kloss thought about defending but was already too late, and once again Thompson once again into fourth place. If this keeps up, I think Thompson may hold on to this place. As meantime now the two Andrettis are close together.
Andretti battle, this is going to be interesting. Won't help Thompson and Kloss to close in, but anyway, this is about that we're looking at.
As they now go around the carousel then for the penultimate time today. Pretty soon I think de Barros will be starting his final lap very, very soon. And he's just about to start it now then. Bruno de Barros starts his final lap here at Road America. Back to the battle for second, because now look, Gomez has had his first chance on Peter in towards the right-hander, but Peter covers him off clearly. No team orders at Andretti whatsoever now then, as they now make the way down underneath the bridge. Kloss has got fourth from Thompson. He's got him down into that right-hander, so into P4, close Kloss, and I think he might have got the position done, because there's now a bit of a gap between the pair of them.
Yep, indeed. That's actually what he wanted. He had to risk it, and he's done it at this corner, finally. After many attempts, he's finally got through.
Just before the bridge, Kloss up into fourth place. May have a bit of a gap now as a result as to come down the pit straight. But meantime, we're looking at this battle between the two Andrettis of Igor Peter and Gabriel Gomez now then. It's an old Brazilian lockout on the podium at the moment, but it looks like there could be a switch between the two Andrettis here as Gomez on the inside of Igor Peter. This could give de Barros the lead in the championship if Gomez gets this one done, but Peter just hanging it around the outside. Gomez may have to wait through into turn number 5 now then. Peter defending the inside now then as they go out of turn 3. As now in the slipstream they go. Will Gomez get second on the final lap of the race now then? Gomez on the inside of Peter. Side by side go the two Andretti drivers now then. Down into turn number 5 now. They kick Gomez getting the move done on Igor Peter. Late on the brakes, and yes he can. Gomez up into second place, and with de Barros still holding on to the fastest lap, it's going to give de Barros the lead in the championship, I think, by just 1 point. Or either way, even if he doesn't get the fastest lap, or providing that Peter doesn't get it, of course, he will still lead it on a countback of wins, of course. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're now looking at Bruno de Barros, who's now coming underneath the bridge for the final time. He now rounds the final corner, and just like in Austin, it's been another dominant race from the Brazilian veteran. He comes down the pit straight for the 40th and final time, and Bruno de Barros is going to win here at Road America. It's 2 wins out of 3 for the Brazilian veteran, and providing that Gomez holds on to second, he will take the lead in the championship for the first time this season. As we've got more cars coming down, the Rosa finished in 15th. Min is going to cross the line in 16th place, the last of the finishes. So P16 for Kim Sung Min in the second manner. Across the line he will go, and Gomez is going to hold on to second. He actually created a gap between himself and Igor Peter in the end. So Gabriel Gomez not doing his teammate any favours at all. He's going to cross the line in second place. P2 for Gomez, P3 for Igor Peter, P4 for Barcia's Kloss. Thompson, just the same for him, P5 after getting pole yesterday. Zorbach, another strong result for him in P6. And Rubino Gonzalez, a brilliant recovery drive for him. He's going to take 7th place after starting in 14th. Good recovery from Rubino Gonzalez. That's P7 for him. Toby Holloway is finally going to finish a race this season. He hasn't finished in the first 2 races, but he's going to pick up points as a result. Redemption for Austin. It's going to be P8 for Toby Holloway. A good result for him indeed. And finally finishes the race this season and gets on the points scoring board. But the battle for ninth is not over, because Volker has been closing on Cassidy all this time. It's going to be a run to the line, but I think with the Honda power, Cassidy is just going to hold on, and he is. Cassidy ninth. Volker picks up the final points in 10th. They both get their first points of the season. Kirby has got Mutka all over the back of him there, and side by side, but Kirby just holds on to 11th. Mutka in 12th. Lucian crosses the line in 13th. A disappointing race for him considering his teammate finished up in 8th, and Hal is going to finish in 14th. And there you have it then. Bruno de Barros, for the second time this season, takes victory, and as a result, because of Peter finishing in 3rd, he now takes the lead in the championship. Bruno de Barros wins. Gabriel Gomez in 2nd. Igor Peter in 3rd, with Barges Kloss in 4th. Sam Thompson, the pole sitter, in 5th, with Nicolas Zobak 6th. Rubino Gonzalez 7th. Toby Holloway in 8th. Thomas Cassidy in 9th. Florian Volker completing the points in 10th, with Joe Pedro Kirby in 11th. And you can do the rest, Ra.
Simon Mitka, 13th we have Alex Eric Lucian, 14th we have Jordan Howe. And the lap runners were the two manners of Francesco La Rosa in 15th and Kim Son Min in 16th. And that's the finishers for today. And the non-finishers today were Borges Bracchi, Yuri Gabriel, Frederick Sopa, Zachary Fitzwater, TJ Bapiro, and Glenn Zorga. Bapiero, sorry.
6 retirements in this race, and the fastest lap, just for clarity, it was Bruno de Barros, so 1:35.675, a dominant display once again, 3 tenths quicker than his teammate Barches Kloss in the end. Well, that is it then from Road America, and just for clarity, Rubino, this is not the final US race of the season. We've still got 2 more US races after this one, but that has been it then from Road America. A very exciting race indeed here at Wisconsin, and well, I'm definitely up for another race here in the future for the OC, because that was very, very exciting indeed. But that has been it. Hope you have enjoyed it. The next World Champ Car race will once again be in 2 weeks' time, because, of course, next week it's Formula E. It will be in 2 weeks' time at Laguna Seca, the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, another popular American track, and it will be very interesting to see how those drivers get on at Laguna Seca in 2 weeks' time. But of course, next week, Formula E is in action for its American doubleheader Saturday, which more than likely will be pre-recorded because WRC is on, of course, next week at Estonia. The Saturday race will take place at Road Atlanta for the Atlanta Prix, and then the Sunday race, which I think will more than likely be live, that will be at the fictional Dodge Island circuit for the Miami Prix. So very exciting times for Formula E next weekend. A double header at both Road Atlanta and Dodge Island to look forward to. Of course, as well, coming up this week as well, we also have Formula 2 and the Top Class as well, both taking place at Portimao for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Formula 2, of course, both the qualifying and the race will be on a Saturday. In terms of me uploading the schedules, I'm going to do that tomorrow, of course, because Flo is still trying to work out what time Formula 2 will be on, but it will be before the Top Class race, I can assure you of that one. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you have enjoyed it. Any last words, Rob, before we head off? Because it has been a very exciting race today.
And yeah, you pretty much summed it up.
Nothing else to say. But until then, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. I've been JW97. He's been Ra. And we will see you, well, next week for Formula E. But in terms of World Champ Car, we will see you in 2 weeks at Laguna Seca. Till then, take care.
Goodbye.